I was born into a home of atheists. My dad, a nuclear scientist, and my mom, a German book publisher. My brother and I were raised to find religion on our own, so to make our own decision about what we wanted to follow. We weren't really actually taught about Jesus in the home, but we did sing about him at Christmas time, and we did have books about Jesus and stories from the Bible when we were younger, but they meant nothing to me. They were the same as my Red Riding Hood books and Goldilocks stories, so basically they were fairy tales. So I grew up with that kind of a knowledge about who Jesus was. I did attend an Episcopal preschool, but basically there all I learned is that I liked those little wafers that they served with the grape juice, and basically thought that they were snacks. Had absolutely no reverence for what I was doing at that time. And did also go to a Catholic VBS, and the only thing that I learned there was how to make a really awesome macaroni Jesus. And I learned that Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham, and I was one of them, even though I was a girl. But I still learned that song, and it still stayed with me. But yeah, again, learned nothing about having a relationship with Jesus. I was also in the Noah's Ark musical, and I learned all about the story of Noah, and I was Rhino number 2 and loved the songs, but left, again, with nothing actually in my heart about Jesus. So basically, what I found to be the best witness to me was the people around me. And so I looked to people to display what Jesus was to me. And by the time I got midway through junior high, I started thinking that Christianity was hypocrisy. And I felt like what I was seeing was not matching up with what I was thinking was supposed to be in the Bible. So I started studying the Bible for myself. Book knowledge and school and just being taught and learned was emphasized very strongly in my home. Again, my dad being from the scientific background and my mom being a very educated person, education was big. So everything was taught to us that if you need to know something, look it up in the book. So I did open up the Bible, and I read the Bible a couple of times, but I ended up knowing what was in the Bible in order to arm myself against the people that were witnessing to me or talking to me about Jesus, so that I could show them how what they were saying was actually not correct, because what I saw in the Bible was not what they were doing. By the time I actually got to college, I was at the point where I was just absolutely done with Christianity and wanted nothing to do with the people that followed Christ. So I started taking a world religions class, and I wanted to see if there was something else out there, because there was an ache inside me and I didn't know how to fill that. So I thought, well, maybe another religion offered something, but I found nothing. So at that point, about midway through college, I decided I was an atheist too, and that there was nothing out there for me. I became a very goal-oriented person, and thought that the fulfillment I needed in life was actually just to keep achieving things and to be a go-getter and an achiever. So I set all kinds of high goals for myself, and I achieved them. I didn't have that kind of life where I was in a pit of poverty or was lacking things in my life. I actually, after graduating college, got the very first job I ever wanted. I got the house that I wanted, the car that I wanted. I had the awesome dog. I traveled. I had the money. I had it all. But there was still an intense ache inside, and I became a very, very dark person. And I was in a pit. I was in a pit inside. My heart was in a pit, and I didn't know why. I didn't know what to do with that. And at one point in time, I became actually very suicidal. And it just came to the point where I just saw nothing in my life. I had all this good stuff, and it didn't do a thing for me. So I was actually in Seattle at that time and decided to move back home, regroup, try to focus on a new goal, find some new objective. But when I got home to Tennessee, it didn't happen. I was still dark. I was still miserable. I found no joy in anything. A former friend of mine called me and said that she was going to church now and thought that it would be best that we didn't talk to one another anymore, because she knew how much I resented Christians, and she didn't want me to get in the way of her walk. But I stopped her mid-sentence and said, well, wait, let me come down to your church. Let me see what this church thing is all about. And in my mind, I was thinking I was going to go down to that church and debunk her salvation. I was all set to throw my little verbal stones and to cast the glances. So I headed down. She reluctantly accepted my request, and I headed down to her church. And the night before, I pulled out the Bible from the hotel room. It was in the drawer, and I started reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. I wanted to be ready. I wanted to know what I was about ready to get into so I could say, ding, here we go. This is what I read last night, and no, you're not saved. Yeah, the joke was on me, though. I don't remember a thing that preacher preached that night. I don't know really one thing that really actually happened in that service. I get chills even talking about it right now. All I know is that my heart began to melt right there. That hard, cold, dark heart just started melting into a puddle right there. And all I could do was say over and over, oh my gosh, what have I been doing? How could I have been so blind? And I just said it over and over. And then I just started saying I was sorry. My head was bowed. Tears were running out of my eyes. Nobody was saying anything to me. It was just all happening inside of me. And literally, the Holy Spirit, He came and He found me. He met me. He flipped my heart. It just turned boom like that. And I literally have never been the same since. And 27 and a half years is how long it took. 27 and a half years, but He found me, pulled me out of that pit, and I truly have never been the same. He's been the music of my heart, and ever since then I've just been singing out loud how much the love of Christ inside of you can do for you. And it's been my goal and my objective ever since to just let everyone that I meet know about that.
How great the love of Jesus Christ. Upon the cross of Calvary, the blood was shed that pardons me. No longer